Monday, August 14th, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. I start out with stock market indexes and go to futures, and I'll do the same this morning. The S&P 500 spider, my current favorite, was unable to make a new low, but ladies and gentlemen, it closed the gap for all practical purposes that I have been talking about for weeks. Did it on Friday. It did leave a little bit behind, about 3,500s. But the fact that it closed well above the opening, which gapped down, exhaustion gap, into support, almost oversold, but not quite, and then closed approximately unchanged, like it did the day before, indicates that it's trying to turn around. And I think it may be. We have a rally today after opening lower, in support again, and bounced right out of it immediately. So if it closes where it is, you have a new high close for the last 4 days, and it doesn't need to go up too much more to have a new high close for a significantly longer period of time. Let's call it 449, and currently trading at 447.12. So 2 more points up on the day, only 1.5 at the moment. Could easily be done today. If it happens this week, and I think it will, we're seeing the lows on Friday, because today we didn't make a lower low, that I was talking about, coming down, closing the gap in a support area. And now I am looking for a new high for the complete trend into the last part of August. Then we've got September and then October lows. So sometime in September, between now and the end of September, 6 weeks, I'm looking for a rally high to start the decline into the October lows for all of the indexes, of course. Now, the DIA, like the spider, was unable to make a low today lower than yesterday. And in fact, the DIA closed its gap almost to the exact tick. Back on August 8th, the low of the day was 349.92, and it needed 349.91. It left 1 tick gap behind. That's it. Done. The gap has been closed in the DIA, just like I was looking for, and more accurately than I expected. We are now about unchanged, down a few ticks. If we can close higher on the day, we'll be making new highs and new high closes. Well, new high closes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the last 7 days. That'll be the second highest close out of the last 7 days for the last 6 of them. So an indication it's trying to turn around. And again, it doesn't need to rally very much to do that. Next, the QQQs. They also are showing signs of turning around. Today's low is 1 tick above yesterday's lows. Too bad, because if it had been below yesterday's lows, we'd have a bullish engulfing at this point. So it came super close to that, and it is almost touching the support area I thought it might get to. And it's already been a week since it closed its gap, like the DIA a week ago. So there's no gap to close, just support. And of course, the bull trend is still very much intact completely. Let's look at the Russell 2000. This is the interesting one. We came down, we bounced off of that support area that has a big fat dashed green line. give or take around 189. It is now higher than yesterday's lows after gapping down. It is higher than the opening. It did, and it's the only one, get oversold. And again, this is my custom RSI index. I don't use Wells Wilder's, and I learned RSI from Wells himself. I don't use his custom number. I don't use his numbers, but the technique, the overall way that stochastics and RSI move relative to the market, relative strength, I like very much. And it's one of my major tools. I always have it on my screens, pretty much always. So support, oversold, not yet coming back quite enough to get higher on the day would be great, but I think that's possible. And if it can get above yesterday's high, Friday's high, we will have a bullish green buy signal point blank. But that hasn't happened yet. It's climbing. It's making new highs as we speak. And the other indexes are reaching up toward their highs. We'll see what happens. Bond futures should have a cycle high approximately the middle of this week. Right now, it almost made a new low, but a little bit of a double bottom maybe. Close to oversold, very close to oversold. And I think it's going to rally for a few days. Now, my question is, if we're going to get a cyclic high in a few days, and it does happen, how much of a break is going to happen afterwards? The history of this cycle has been that it's usually come down for a week or two, and sometimes more than that, and a lot occasionally. But we have been involved in a long-term bear market, and cycle highs are great to sell short during a bear market. Cycle lows, not quite so much so, because of course, it's a bear market. Now, for the last 6 events, the cycle lows have been outstanding, super accurate, and amazingly accurate. So the last cycle low worked okay, a week or two up. But now we're dealing with historical support levels and oversold conditions. And a week ago, we did get a buy signal. Now, from a long-term investor standpoint, that is still the low of the break. And today's low, although close, did not negate, in general, that signal. Now, ER1 is always in the trade on green or red vertical candlesticks or vertical bars. ER3 needs a retracement to get into the trade. And the next day after the green signal, we did get in, and the low of the day was only 1 tick below our bid. So all day on August 7th, we had a profit, and more of a profit the next day without any challenge of the stop, and more of a profit the next day. And finally, a little bit more during the day profit, but it reversed, and we came down, for today's lows. But look, we're now significantly higher again than the opening. We could have a bullish engulfing. It will not be a green buy signal, unfortunately. I'd love that, but you can never make the market do what you want it to do. You always have to move with it. So I'm looking for new highs for today, maybe above Friday's highs for a bullish engulfing, and that will come very, very close to a bullish engulfing ER buy signal, but not quite. It will be a potential double bottom, and a bullish engulfing will be bullish, even though it's not one of my signals. That, I hope, will start the rally for the few days into the middle of this week. The 17th seems to be the idealistic date, but don't hold me to the 17th. Next chart is going to be the E-mini, where we did get 3 sell signals at the top of the market, one of which on July 27th was the high day. In overbought conditions and in a resistance area, it's worked great. Our lowest low was just Friday. Today, we are bouncing. And everything I said about the SPY at the beginning of this still stands for the ES, of course. It's just a baby brother of the S&P 500. Now, what about for 10-year notes? It came down and double bottomed out at almost exactly, I don't know if it's exact, the low 109 and 24, and today's low is 109 and 24 and a half. I believe that's about as exact as you can get, almost missing a half a tick here. So we have a double bottom over about a week's 6, 7 day time period. The first of which was a green bullish engulfing. We didn't get one out of, well, we did. So I'm expecting this to start to rally. The same cycle applies. So about the middle of this week, I'm looking for a rally high. But after that rally high in both bonds and 10-year notes, I am frankly not expecting to see much of a down move and expecting to see new highs very soon after that, a few days, maybe a week. I think this is it. I think this is the broad double bottom formation that is going to start a long-term bull market. And I think I'm saying it approximately on the low day, if not on the low day. Time will tell. Next chart. And I'm going backwards. Sorry about that. And here we go, crude. On Thursday of last week, we did have a bearish engulfing. It was a little bit above the resistance area that I thought we were going to stop at, and I tried to, but so a little bit higher is not bad, and we've dropped all the way down to and through most of the resistance, which is now support area. So if it closes here, that'll be definitely a little bit more bearish, because the day after Thursday of last week, we actually went up, sold short almost the exact high of the rally. I wanted to sell short at precisely 83.70, and Friday's high was 83.81. Pretty damn close, good enough. And we closed with a profit. And today we're down a chunk more profit. Looking for a test at a minimum of 78.65. Probably looking for a move down in the area of 75. Next, heating oil. Overbought at previous historical resistance areas, had a regular reversal. That's a higher high and a lower close. It's not a bearish engulfing. And these are not necessarily very reliable on August 10th, Thursday of last week, but so far so good. New low, lower low that is, on Friday, and a lower close on Friday, and again today. So it looks like we've got a high in place on Thursday. I'm expecting a test of the bottom of the previous red support area, 29054-ish. And frankly, the profoundness of this resistance area and the way it turned around, I think that's going to get broken. And we're going to see it down to 28, 27 maybe. 27 looks like a very reasonable potential. Maybe take a few weeks. Next, overbought, a little bit above resistance. The other chart was doing better. Natural gas, probably turning down with crude and unleaded. Next, and heat. Gold. We caught the top of the rally, July 20th. I screamed bloody murder at the time. We had a complimentary sell signal a week or so later, nail in the coffin, so to speak. Today is another new low, and much more importantly, today is a new low since March, 5 months ago. Half a year, basically. Now, we're not in a good shape here to keep on going down because we're oversold and we're popping back out of that support area, but it did make some downside progress. So it cracked the support area. Now, because it's oversold and coming back fairly well, I do think it's going to rally short term, maybe for a few days, a week, possibly even a little longer. As long as it's not too strong, I'm thinking at best we're going to get up to 1986.5. That looks very reasonable. And then into new low, below today's low again, if not much sooner. If we turn around at this point and drop down below the lows made on June 29th and close below the low of June 29th, we should be on our way down sharply, fast, big break, at least testing 1876, and I'm expecting it to break below that. That shouldn't be out there in the middle of nowhere. Okay, next. Silver. Same commentary, support, trying to turn around. Did have a bullish engulfing, but it didn't work. Sometimes these are part of formations and not necessarily the lowest low, like we got back here on May 26th, the highest high for the rally like we got on July 20th. And we got the double top again on May 5th, and the first high of the double top on April 14th, and the low of the move back here on March 10th. Previous signals weren't quite as good, but that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row that were great. Next chart, obviously bearish. Platinum, support, oversold, bounced. Is that all we're going to get? Nah, I think we're going to get more of a bounce. Today we challenged again the support, but it's coming back pretty good so far. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely bearish, but it looks like it's in a condition to bounce just slightly. I'm going to say up to 945 and then down. Next, high-grade copper. Support. Not quite oversold, but close. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, and it's going to rally a little bit, but I'm bearish. Looking for breaking below 3.68 on a closing basis. We'll probably push it down to 3.56 or lower. I'm bearish. Got a sell signal. Let's back up on that one. At the top of the market, August 1st. And we got this buy signal way back on September 21st. Other signals may have made a little bit of money for a day or two or not. These two don't look good at all. But this last sell signal, my favorite combination, resistance areas and support for that matter, for bearish or bullish ER signals. Next, we got soybeans. Soybeans is trying to bounce off that very important support level. It goes way back to the trading range that we saw at early 22, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September of 22. A lot of the tops on the rallies were in the area we just came down to. Old resistance is new support once you close above it in a very good manner. In other words, not just a barely one day and then drop down again. I'd like to see a few days and a pretty damn good rally. Then the old resistance turns into good support. We were bouncing off of good support a few days ago. We had a bullish engulfing that did not work out. From Thursday of last week, we had a day trade loss on Friday. But again, these reversals are not necessarily the lowest low, although frequently they are. We got the highest high again just recently, July 27th, with a bearish engulfing. We had a good start with that bullish one. It wasn't the bottom, but it certainly got filled and went straight up after the fill. That one was not good. It was barely an ER1 profit for a couple of days. That one's just barely, well, ER1 made some good money. It was such a big reversal. And we got the high of a rally for about a week and not so much so. We could be bottoming out here. I'm liking this. And if we can get back up above 1440, wow, that would be very, very bullish. But this is a very critical price range. If we start to close below 1279, watch out. I think it could drop all the way down to 1080. And maybe even very fast. Bean oil could be building a top. Not too much to say here. I'm going to wait. Next, soybean meal is very similar. I'm still bearish, looking for it to work into new lows. Minimum challenge 363. Meal, okay, corn has started today and Friday to poke away at new lows for a very long period of time. This is new lows since the spike bottom on July 22, a little over a year ago. Now, if this thing can't get its rear end up here and close above Friday's high, we are going to see it start to collapse a lot and a very big break. So we're right on the edge of falling apart. Is there going to be a rally first that could get up to 505? Maybe even a little bit more than that. 525 maybe. But the longer term picture looks neutral, and it has been at very, very high levels historically. So there's a lot of room on the downside here. Next, wheat is doing it, the bearish breakouts, the best. It only has one more price to get down to and below to make new lows for, oh gosh, how far? Oh, let's just call it almost forever. That'd be going back at least to 2015. I'm not sure how much further back. So wheat topped out at the beginning of the war, and we did have a bearish engulfing ER sell signal smack on the top of the wheat market, an unbelievable sell signal. Nobody in their right mind usually is willing to go short when the market has been going limit up bid. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and probably opened limit up bid in a row, 7 days in a row. But by the end of this day, and that date was again March 8th of 22, we have a gigantic bearish engulfing and a huge sell signal. Turns out it's the top of the market since. And we're talking way over a year now. Next, we got the top of the market in cattle. The rally was a little more than I expected, but didn't do any longer term damage. So I'm looking for new lows very soon below 177, and then a challenge very probably of 170. Next, hogs have already started to do that kind of thing. We have a new low for approximately a month and a half since July 3rd. And this time it looks like it's going to stay there. So that is a significant downside breakout, which should start a test of 75 at a minimum. And frankly, I wouldn't be surprised to see it down in the 65, 66, 62 area pretty soon. Bearish. Next, OJ. We got the top again on OJ, and a little bit of a rally today, slightly lower at the moment. I think it's about to break into new low ground any day now, probably this week, and continue to go down. 290 absolute minimum, looking for 280 probably. And then when it gets to this support area, which is pretty extensive, and the bull trend line, let's see what it does. Cocoa. Oh my God, we got the top again. These are not related, you know. Huge bearish engulfing, big break the next day, great trade in a very short period of time. I told you that I probably did too much too quick. And after sinking a little bit for a couple of days, we're now rallying today slightly. I don't trust this rally. I think it's going to stop maybe at 34.67 in that ballpark and turn down into new lows, if not sooner than that. I'm definitely bearish on cocoa. Cotton the rag, well, we did have the top for about a week. Then it made an attempt to break the resistance area, but failed on Friday. And today we're coming down after being overbought in resistance and dropping today. So now I did not get a bearish engulfing ER sell signal on Friday. We didn't quite, we only needed a lower close, which it did not get. It was overbought, It was an outside trading range, but higher close. I needed a lower close. Nevertheless, it seems to start to push prices lower. I am looking for a test minimum real soon, 83.20, but probably down into the ballpark of 77, 78 next. Sugar. I do think it's going to get eventually to 20, certainly taking its time. Not too much to say. Looking for lower levels, probably in the next week or two, breaking below 23.18. Next. Coffee today, new lows for a long period of time. Again, we're looking back to January of this year. All of the price action has been higher than this. No particularly great signals lately in coffee, unfortunately. A few buy signals back here during the bottom formation, but it wasn't the lowest low. Now, new lows. I'm obviously looking for 148 minimum, excuse me about my cough, and expecting the low of 135 to be challenged very soon. And we're back to 10-year notes and the E-mini, which is near its highs. A last little quick peek here on the indexes. And we are getting very close to the high of the day on the spider. And the DIA is coming up a little bit more since I started my YouTube. And the Qs are getting closer to the high of the day. We are at the high of the day, making new highs for today so far on the Russell 2000, which again has the chance, if it can close above yesterday's close and get above Friday's high, to have a green bullish buy signal. I'd love that if it can do it. Have a great day. Later.